This is part 3 in our series about the Fae Encrypted, where you ask questions and we together debunk all the typical normal human things that we think or that are rumors about the Fae Encryptids. So this question is, can the Fae be more than one thing at the same time? Like, can they be a god and Fae at the same time? So yes, this is the same for us as humans as well. We can be Fae and we can be a god at the same time. And the reason why this is because, especially for humans, is that everything is happening at the same time. So, you know, when people say past lives, there's no past lives, there's other versions of us. I am going to finally, at one point, get to this art project I'm working on where I'm going to make a fan that goes like this, and it shows that every single time you're expressing yourself, you're streaming and you're bringing in information, and it's a version of you. For example, today I was having kind of a tough day, and I all of a sudden was hearing this Irish accent, and I was like, what's going on? And it was so random. There was no reason. It wasn't like I watched a show, and I couldn't place what it was. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is my job. So I was like, okay, who's this? And I realized it's another version of me that needed help from me. And so I was like, okay. And they didn't know that they're getting help from me, but they were merging to solve a problem that I've already solved with my energy. And so they're probably getting weird visuals of me, like, if that makes sense, or something like their own version. And this only happens with our other energies when we're both an energetic match. So if you have nothing to offer, then it wouldn't happen. It would be another version. There's infinite versions of us, so it's fine, right? So that was just a quick little example of what that could be like. Now, this is where it gets a bit complicated. That's how humans operate. But Fae hold more energy. There are some that hold less than others, but they hold a lot of energy. This is something that kind of helps people when they start thinking about spirituality and they start going further than just human things, and they start exploring things that are not in our reality. And it's something to keep in mind. Animals, plants, humans, when we talk about other beings and things like that, they hold energy differently, especially when we're talking about Earth. So the reason why we even call them Fae and they have a name is because they needed to be in another realm because of how big they are and how much energy they hold. So the Fae, for example, might have another version of them like humans, but instead it is them, right? But there are some versions that are similar to us in the way that their energy is set up, and they would need assistance from gods. So the reason why even assistance happens is because a being wouldn't have access to something. So they usually have access to everything. I recommend watching the Ryanon videos. I can put them also in the description. I put them in the other video, but I think that they're very helpful with this. And again, we can go into more detail in sessions. But there was a moment where the beings needed to be transferred over because of how much energy they hold, and it didn't match here. And what happened was they almost have some trauma, right? They need help. They were separated from children. They're separated. Their families were in different places. The realms were weird, and all this stuff was going on. And so the kind of assistance they would need is from a god, right? An energy. So that's if they start having these experiences that a human would have where they need direction from a bigger energy, this is the kind of beings and stuff like that they would need. But most likely, almost all of them, they are like, there is a version of them being a god, right? So one of the ones I talk about on live all the time is Loki. There is a version of the god Loki that is a type of Fae that's not on Earth, on a different planet, that is in the job role. It's not the current job role in this reality, but it's all time is now, so you can still talk to that one, and people do. It's the one with red hair. And so that is how it explains that. It is a case by case thing though. So if you do have specific things in mind, we can go into detail in a session, because that is helping your path, right? And also, one last thing, always keep in mind, a god means a job role. The thing is that is what it is when we're talking about it and using terms and trying to discuss it. But in history, people have moved that around. So they would say something is a god and it might be an original energy, and they don't even know what an original energy is. They just think, okay, only gods. They could be avatars, and then they didn't know what avatars are, but that's like, those are the terms that I'm using. But they would just call all of that stuff gods. They're like, anything that's better than me, God. So that's what happened. So that's something to keep in mind too. So if anyone's interested, we can also do these kinds of things in the lab classes. The video before this, I explained that, the difference between our classes, our live classes and those. So yeah, talk to you guys soon. Bye.